Maine meteorologist Jason Nappy tracking the storm, and I don't normally show the almanac page here, but it's important talking about the tides with this storm going for a top 5 or even maybe a top 4 crest, especially in Portland. I'll get to Bangor and everyone around the entire state of Maine, but let's talk about this high tide, 11:41. Now, the tide is expected to be close to 14 feet as you're starting to add on that surge too with this storm coming to that inside track. So that's going to be a problem. Businesses are going to flood, homes are going to flood. There will be issues. In Bangor, the tide a little sooner, 11:20 is that high tide. So with the high tide, with the king tide, highest tide of the month, it's going to be just up before that tide and during the high tide, before the water begins to recede after high tide, and that's where you're going to have the worst impacts at the coast. Now let's talk about the storm in the broader sense in more detail. It's significant overnight through Sunday, similar to what we had in January. High wind, heavy rain, flooding, a moderate power outage threat too, especially down east where I believe the highest wind's going to be. Can't rule out though in the western mountains with heavy wet snow and the wind too. Let's talk and I'll walk you through it as we get through tonight. This is all valid tonight. I'll stop it at midnight, but if you're watching on Sunday morning, it's still valid here. Latest information has that rain snow line pushing inland, interior York, interior Cumberland. That wind out of the southeast and even due east at times is going to take that 40-degree ocean temperature and drive it in. And that's going to mean we're going to change over if we even start off as snow, which I don't think we will along the southern coast. But notice here, Freiburg, you're 32, you're snowing heavily. Foothills, mountains, and I'll stop it at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is peak storm right now. There's that rain snow line pushing in to the Oxford Hills, changing over from heavy snow, 1-2 inches per hour rates of snow, to heavy rain coming down. Western mountains are just getting pasted with heavy snow over towards the Carabasset Valley, the ski resorts, yes, over towards the Central Highlands, and that heavy rain wins this battle in a big way by 9 o'clock here. Lewiston, Auburn, Augusta, 38, 36. Not enough cold air to keep it there, except in Rangeley, Greenville, Millinocket, Caribou. And then eventually, as we get through the morning, the rain eventually pushes all the way north, even into Millinocket. Only Katahdin is going to see snow at that point. 31 in Caribou, you're still snowing. By the afternoon, here comes that warmer air pushing up. In Caribou, you're on that borderline, that battleground between rain and snow, drying out and warming up here. Southern Maine, upper 40s to near 50. Let's talk about the wind. Big factor here. So think about 5,000 feet up in the sky. You have the jet stream, a little bit of a low-level jet stream coming through. Think about like a plane flying low. You take the heavy rain, you got the low-level jet, and you push that wind down to the ground level, and you're going to have problems. That's how we're going to get 48, 47, even as much as 50 to 60 miles an hour. Look at what the model is spitting out here. 53 Rockland, 50 in Bar Harbor. Once again, the heavy rain pushes that wind down to the ground level, and that's where the power outages are going to be popping up, especially along the coastline, because we're going to have this called inversion. So it's a stable layer in the atmosphere at ground level that's going to try to prevent that wind from getting down. But I think that wind is going to win out. So we'll get to the future precip now. Now, I want to point out here, this is not all rain or even snow. It's a mixture as you head inland of precip. But along the coastline, that is all rain, 1 to even 2 inches. Here, though, southern and southeastern facing slopes of the foothills, the western mountains, you're going to have that rain be wrung out. You're going to have issues there, although, you're going to have snow too. So I don't expect this to be a major flooding situation inland. It's going to be more of a snow over to rain. So we're kind of saved from it being a major flooding situation of flash flooding in the western mountains because the snow starts off. Still, though, there will be problems because it's going to be rapid snow melt as this storm is even kind of happening. It's all going to get washed away. This coating, the 2 inches here, is going to get washed away very quickly during the day on Sunday. So here's what we need to know. It's a moderate power outage threat from Sunday, 55 to 60 mile per hour wind at the coast. Numerous roads will be closed. Inundation to homes, businesses, much like January. Significant shoreline erosion. Large, battering waves are going to come in as we talk about coming up close to high tide. What you see here, the tides, 11:20. That's supposed to be a.m. A little bit of a typo there, but 11:20 a.m. up towards down east. 11:41 a.m. right around Portland, the Portland Pier, Jay's Oyster. Everyone's going to be going under there. Road damage, inundation, moderate flooding, to even up to major if we get to that top 5, top 4 crest all time in Portland. So it's a rough situation during the middle of the day tomorrow and just leading up to that. Snow-wise here, look at the range. Fort Kent, 5 inches. Bangor, not a lot, maybe a ½ inch. And then you see here in Jackman, about 6.5. Once again, this is during the day Sunday. Rangeley, you're the jackpot there. More than 9 inches. Up in the Allagash, 4.5. Near the North Woods, not as much. You're not getting as much cold air. You're not getting as much precip there. And look here, Caribou, Bangor, look at Portland, 0. Because you're just going to get no snow there. So this storm here, and look at basically the isobars, lines of equal pressure in the atmosphere, all wrapped up here. A lot of energy with it. This is the biggest storm so far of the month, and March can be very strong. And notice the storm pulling east as we get through the day into March 11th. It's all because of energy that's being driven into the storm here to give it that kind of shot of energy to make it stronger. Big here, low pressure system in the atmosphere that's going to take on a little energy, and it's going to have to release the energy, as it will do so in the form of the power outage risk on Sunday, 50 to 60 miles per hour. Lightning low, but it is a moderate threat for power outages. I want to break that down in more detail here. Scattered Rockland, Bar Harbor, Bangor, but even here, now this power outage threat in the western mountains, the White Mountains, that's different than this one. This is basically the wind and the rain. This one, low to moderate, this is because of heavy wet snow and the wind. So you got 2 different power outage threats happening at the same time on Sunday. A rare storm, but it's kind of like a winter storm / a spring storm happening kind of at the same time here. Snowfall forecast, which I talked about, is 4 to 10 inches, 2 to 4 outside of the western mountains, the White Mountains. I'll zoom in, fly around, and show you anything in Sanford, anything over towards, well, Buxton, Windham, Lewiston is going to wash away. Even in Brownfield and Bridgeton, this is going to wash away too. It's up here as you go to the White Mountains and head up north the Lakes region, Mount Washington in the mountains there, the White Mountains of New Hampshire. That's where it's going to kind of stick around for a little bit while. You got to get to elevation. Carrabassett Valley, 4 to 10 inches. Heading up north over towards Greenville, it'll stick around. But this 2 to 4, if we don't get the 4, which I don't think we're really going to, except at elevation, it's going to wash away. It really will. Topsfield, Danforth, Springfield, that's all going to be gone. Patton, maybe up in the county, up towards the North Woods, the Allagash, that'll stick around a little bit. But overall, you have to get to elevation with there's so much warm air coming in off the Gulf of Maine from this storm. So up towards Coos County, you got 4 to 10, but that's pretty much it. I thank you for watching. Updates on the socials if you want to follow along. We're talking about it all night and get that cleanup on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the community.